welcome to this week's weekly forecast. Going to cover FX first and then do crypto. It should be all labelled below, so you can just skip to whatever is relevant to you. We're going to look at pound first, one of my favourite plays going into this week. Still heavy bearish on this instrument, and if I'm bearish this instrument, I want to be looking at key areas of support and resistance to try and get involved. We do have an area of interest here I've marked out, and it's around 1.21. Just support and resistance, support here, support here, support here. We got a push, quick retracement back in, and I'll be looking for any selling opportunities just to come down and take it low at a time on pound. Another area of interest is this level. We have resistance, resistance, support, support, support. Now, can this pull back even further? Yes, of course it can, but I'm just going with the momentum of the market and just looking for areas that interest me to look for selling opportunities. So there's a lot going on with the pound at the moment, which I put in the blog post below, and yeah, it's just one of my favorite instruments going into the week ahead. Another instrument I like the look of is EURUSD. So areas of interest, it is stuck between two levels at the moment. I do see these lows being swept at some point, but we have come down and rejected off these lows. So the next area I want to push back up into, we have support here, support here, support here, resistance. Even if we can sweep some highs, get back below, this is a key area for me, around 1.048, and that's where I'll be looking for any sort of rollover to the downside. So my bias is bearish on EURUSD, and I'll continue to look for sales in that, just like we were last week. So any trades I take, I'll post into the Discord group as well. Let's take a look at Aussie dollar, and we do have interest rate decision coming out, and I'll be looking to sell any rallies. We do have some support running through the market here, around 0.685. So any push into there, this will be an area of interest for me, and then I'll be looking for another sell to take out these lows. Now we'll probably have to wait till after the interest rate decision and then take a look at the market, because we may come up, get a spike, come up, take out some of these highs, and then I'll be looking to basically just fade any spike that does occur from that news. Moving on to Kiwi. Similar story going on. I'm obviously bullish the dollar, and these are the instruments, the key instruments that I would like to be trading against it. So we have support here, seeing if we can close back below, retest, and then look to take out most of the trade at this low. If this level does not give me an entry and we trade up into the next area, we have a lot of confidence here. We have resistance running through the market, this structure, and then I would look to sell, see what sort of reaction we get at previous support. If we can break and retest from the other side, then we can add to our position. So really it's just about doing what the market is giving you, or just playing what the market is giving you, wait for price action to unfold and then trade accordingly. So it's all well and good having these plans for the week ahead, but price action will dictate how we get involved. So bias is bearish on these instruments, obviously bullish on the dollar. We have other dollar instruments that I'm not really interested in. Dollar yen, we're seeing a lot of strength coming into the yen, and we're seeing a lot of strength coming into the Swiss franc, so I'm not really too interested in those pairs. I don't want to be trading two strong instruments against each other, and I'm just picking the best instruments for me going forward. And yeah, those are outlined. I'd like a couple of weeks just to see what the yen is up to, and then we can trade accordingly through that. So those are the main instruments against the dollar that I'm looking to trade, and we'll just move on to crypto now. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. A pattern that I pointed out on Twitter and below in a blog post. We do have a mother bar levels, this range high and low, and then we have this range high and low. You can see that we come up, a spike, and got back below. So I'll be looking for a sell down into this area, and then I'll be waiting to see what sort of reaction we get. Do we get a break back inside and a trade back up into those 2017 all-time highs? And then if we can break the retest, then there may be some willingness to go higher on Bitcoin. But at the moment, I'm just going with the tone of the market, very bearish, and any day trades, I'll be looking for a break, retest, and then just taking it level to level at the moment. Very similar with Ethereum. Go to H4 chart. This is a trade idea, post it into the group already. We're watching this consolidation right on top of this inside bar low, inside bar high, and the tone of the market is bearish. So what I want to see is if we can break out of this structure, retest, then we'll be looking to sell with a target of this mother bar low, and then that's when we sit in the sidelines of the market and see what wants to happen. If we can maybe get a willingness to come back up inside the range, and then we can target a break of this structure and then target inside bar high and maybe mother bar high. But at the moment everything's bearish, and I'll continue looking for selling opportunities. Let's look at AVAX, AVAX. 4-hour chart, bearish, broken some structure here, support, 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 break, retest, resistance, and now he's currently sitting on some support. If we're looking for more downside, I'd like a clean break, retest, and then see what sort of price action we get here, and then we could look to sell to take out these lows. So very, very simple, and just going with the tone of the market, looking for support and resistance to break, and being smart about where we get in and where we put our stops. Solana is going to be the last thing that I look at today. We're getting squeezed against support here, and then we have support and resistance running across the market. Resistance, resistance, support, support, consolidation. Just wait and see. Can we break out of that consolidation, retest this structure, and then that'll clear the room for more downside. We'll have these lows, maybe these lows, and maybe even these lows, but just take it low at a time, target at a time. Don't get too greedy. If we break and retest from there, then maybe there could be a willingness to go higher, but at the moment the market is pointing downwards, everything is bearish, so it makes sense to me to look for selling opportunities on these instruments. So that's just a quick little look at what I'm looking at for the week ahead. Obviously, as price action dictates as we go along, things may change, instruments may get added, and yeah, I just go with what the market's telling me at the time. So I'll leave it at that. Don't want to take up most of your weekend and put in a lot of charts. These are the ones that I'm looking at the start of the week, and then I'll have an update for you maybe even Wednesday, halfway through the week, after those interest rate decisions, etc. So wishing you a nice week and hopefully a profitable one.